It's 946, and I think this one has a chance of holding this uptrending trend line and getting above VWAP and everything, but I think I'm gonna not take it because it just doesn't seem like the odds are there. It is something that happens with a lot of stocks and they play out nicely, but I don't like how this one had like this big gap up day with all this volume, and then we had one back here. It sold off. We had one back here, sold off, and then we had another one back here, and it sold off. This one, another one, and if I go even further, there are even more of them. So what makes me feel like, would be normally a good setup is not really the case, even though it can play out just because of the fact that there are probably a ton of bag holders in this stock or people who have just been holding on for a really long time. No, definitely bag holders, yeah, because none of these run-ups were below this one. I did have a trade with this one initially because I've seen stuff like this work out at 943 where it looked like it was going to break above VWAP and then try to make a move towards, as you can see, the 480 level and then make a move towards the highs and break above 5 if it can do that or something crazy but like that. But then when it just sold off like it did massively, and I never traded this part because, again, I'm kind of sketched out with this stock. When it sold off and it got near the low of the range, I've seen stuff like that happen where it just sells off and then wipes out a bunch of people and then it actually does a setup, something toxic like that. I did buy at 943, just 25 shares at 438, which was right here. And what happened was is that I expected it to be like a wick where it just had a sell off. It's already trying to come back. I'm in it at 439 basically if you want to round up. And then it eventually does the thing. It gets above VWAP again and it tries to make a move towards the 480s and again those other levels above it. But when it opened right here and it just didn't look quick and it just looked like there were too many sellers in the 440s, like 442. I did get out of it very quickly just for a small difference in price, just 20-cent scratch. And we did have a wick here under the trend line. Maybe that's what wiped out some sellers. And now it's going to actually do it perhaps. But this one's a bit sketchy and there isn't anything else that's really nice. I guess I'll keep looking for setups, but I don't see anything nice that's going on. A lot of these are down on the day and they're red. I'll make an update later. It is 12:45 a.m. and I'm here to call it off for the third day of March, and I ended up being down just 20 pennies, and this was a scratch with CYTO, and this one actually did work out. Taking into consideration the overall idea that it never broke under the range low, which was this 428-ish level, but I didn't like how it did this sell off, and then it didn't immediately become a wick, and it did have this price action here. It did have a wick right here, but again, it never broke under it, and it did make an uptrend. Not a big surprise that it just sold off like it did right here because even though this one did kind of work out, and let's just see, I guess, what a sell at 472 would have been. Just taking into consideration an idea where maybe, I'm long the setup and then I draw a trend line from, this candle, this first candle to this one that started the work. And then it already immediately opens the candle past it and it's no longer uptrending. We even had a bit of a dip here. Maybe with a really good entry, and then the exit being around this level, sure, could have been profitable, but I don't mind that I didn't hold on for it because I wanted it to be nice and quick. And if it's just not going to go the way I thought it's going to go, even if it works out another way, I don't mind it. And also, I think it was just a good lesson as to why not to trade the stock because it did continue to just massively sell off, as you can see right here. And why? I actually didn't see this. I think the stock was up like what, 90% on the day or something? Yeah, right here it was 47% once it was starting to sell off a bit already there, but it just barely finished up on the day by 1%. That is massive. Even though the setup worked, good lessons and reasons as to why I was hesitant on trading it over a longer period of time. As you can see, it clearly sold off. That's it. Not really good in terms of setups today. A lot of red, but yeah, at least I got to learn from this trade right here. And even though it did work out, I'm glad I got out of it for the reasons that I mentioned here.